if you've lost traffic during a core algorithm update or potentially during the HCU update and you seem to be going on a downward trend, this video is for you. One thing that I have done over the years is I have been able to recover a lot of websites from core algorithm updates, from manual actions, spam updates as well. And this is an internal SOP that I have used on live consultant calls. And basically, this is the monster checklist for any of your articles. I'll go through each and individual question, how to check it, good examples, bad examples, everything. And also, as like what I've been doing for a lot of my videos recently, if you do want this checklist, check the link down below. And when you do get it, make certain to click on file and obviously make a copy for yourself. But before we get into this checklist, we actually need to identify a page that has lost traffic. And I'll show you guys how to do that as well, because one thing that a lot of people do is they see that their website is on a downward trajectory and they think, damn, my website across the board has been hit. What you actually need to do is identify which pages across your website has been hit, because it might not necessarily be all of your pages. And the best way that you can obviously do that is head over, like I'm just going to use New York Times as an example, which they've obviously got a lot of traffic, but one thing to do is obviously click on organic keywords on Ahrefs. You can also do this on SEMrush as well. And what we're going to be basically doing is making certain that, for example, 19 million traffic change is from their Wordle page, right? So for example, if say they did lose a lot of traffic, that might be the reason why. And again, the reason for something like as drastic as that is because a lot of people search the word Wordle. So if they drop from position 1 to position 2, that seems like a really big drop, but in reality, it's not as significant as what you might think it is, right? But obviously, what we would want to do is we can obviously look at lost. We can look at declined as well, and we can obviously hit apply. One thing as well with Ahrefs is you can also check the actual the date that you're comparing against. So for example, we're going to look at today's date in comparison with, let's say, previous week. And obviously very quickly you can see like Wordle hint, for example, they dropped 4 positions. So they've went from position 3 to position 7 and they've lost minus 28,000 traffic. And same with like ChatGPT, they went from position 17 to position 20, and again they've lost 59,000 traffic from that. So try to create a hit list of pages. Like potentially what I would be looking at doing now is exporting this and creating a list of pages, like potentially group together some of the pages, because some of the pages what you will typically find is there might be like 4 or 5 keywords that you've dropped for that one page. So just bear that in mind. But that's how you first of all want to identify the pages that have lost in traffic. And also one thing that I would look at here is set the compare date prior to the algorithm update. So I believe the core algorithm update got released on, August 15th, and currently as of recording this video, it is August 20th, right? So once you have got the list of pages that you want to cross-reference with the sheet, we then obviously have got the questions, right? So Google are sometimes a little bit broad in how they actually tell you what helpful content is. And also, just as a side note as well, this is only the content section that I'm releasing in this video. In probably about a week's time, I'm also going to create a new tab called like links. So if, say for example, you've been hit or your website's been penalized because of a links related issue, you will get that update in a week's time. So make certain you get the sheet. It's completely free. You're not going to lose anything by doing it. But this is only for checking content, just this section, right? Or just this video. We've obviously got the questions. So does this content provide original information, reporting, research, or analysis? A good example would be a blog post that shares unique research data or exclusive interviews. a good way of actually doing that is, for example, if you have got a podcast, transcribing that podcast into a blog article and uploading that. That's kind of like new information that Google's never really seen before. A bad example of that is a blog that paraphrases Wikipedia without adding any new insights. And then we also have got a how to check section as well. So compare content with other sources on the same topic to ensure it adds new data, original insights, or unique reporting that others have not covered. And we also have got a prompt section. So this is quite a big sheet. Some of you guys might like it, some of you guys might hate it, but it had to be done. It had to be a big enough sheet that obviously makes sense. This has been something that I have used in prior audits for people. People book me out for consultancy for like website recovery all the time, and this is something that I have used on calls. So once you obviously tick it, you can obviously tick it and it goes green against the entire section. But we also then have got a prompt as well, so you can actually copy your entire content and get ChatGPT to actually check to see if it is actually any unique, right? So for example, if I just copy this prompt, right, and if we head over to ChatGPT, and if we go to our article here, so all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to copy this entire article, right? Everything that's actually in this article, and I'm just going to paste this in here. So this will actually do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. Obviously, one thing to bear in mind is that you will need to go back and forth with ChatGPT and do all of the checks. Now, one thing to bear in mind as well is that some of the actual questions that we've got in the spreadsheet, you can actually check with AI. That's the unfortunate thing about this. I know that some of you guys want speed and you want to fix everything as quickly as possible, but unfortunately, when it comes to recovering websites, you need that little bit of manual check, right? Like, for example, would you expect to see this content in or referenced by a printed magazine or encyclopedia or book? Unfortunately, with AI, if you were to just ask the AI that, of course you can obviously ask AI that, it's just going to give you a informal answer, to say the least. It's not going to be factual, so it's just going to say like, yeah, I would, or no, I wouldn't. You just need that little bit of manual eye. But a lot of these do actually have prompts. Some of the further down questions, you can't actually do that yourself. Like, for example, technical side of stuff, you're going to need to run an audit yourself. But let's just go back into like ChatGPT and see what it's actually come back with. So some potential unique contributes include personal endorsed specificity. This article distills advice from multiple professionals such as nutritionists, doctors, and trainers, offering specific tips by individual endorsements. For instance, the recommendation to drink 2 glasses of water before meals for appetite suppression, avoiding sparkling water to reduce bloating, is a direct contribution from a nutritionist, which personalizes the advice. See, stuff like that you just wouldn't have actually picked up on if you're just writing AI articles. Then you have got customizable exercise routine, the inclusion of specific high-intensity intervals, HIIT, workout from a professional trainer. Oliver Lee provides actionable content for readers to try. So they've actually mentioned Oliver Lee, which I believe is a HIIT trainer. If we actually do trainer, or it might be... Oliver Lee Collins, freelance boutique fitness consultant, right? So the guy seems like he knows what he's talking about. Practical application of nutritional knowledge. The article offers practical applications of well-known concepts such as intermittent fasting and increasing protein and fiber intake, but it pairs this with professional insights using time-restricted feeding to get metabolic boosts. So this article is actually providing uniqueness. So it's not necessarily that's the reason why the article's dropped. So you've got a prompt for every single section here. One thing I will do is I'll go over as to why we're asking certain questions. Like, for example, we have got the categories of questions, so the content quality and also content and quality questions. So some of these are obviously, does the content provide original information reporting or research analysis? Does the content provide substantial, complete, or comprehensive description of the topic? Does the content provide insightful analysis or interesting information that is beyond the obvious? If the content draws on other sources, does it avoid simply copying or rewriting those sources and instead provide substantial additional value and originality? Then you've obviously got, does the main heading or the page title provide descriptive, helpful, or summary content? Now, the reason why we've asked this particular question is because in some cases people do clickbait article titles to try and get into Google News, to try and drive as much Google News traffic, but in reality the content or the main body content doesn't actually reflect on what the actual page title is. We then have got, does the main heading or page title avoid exaggerating or being shocking in nature? So again, kind of similar to what I've said before, but again, we're trying to make certain that the actual page title and the actual main body content is reflecting of what people want. Is the sort of page you'd want to bookmark, share with a friend, or recommend? Would you expect to see this content referenced in a printed magazine or encyclopedia? Does the content provide substantial value when compared to other pages in search results? This one, I believe you might actually need to do a manual check. Yeah. So some of these you might need to just do a manual check yourself. Is this the sort of, we've done that one. Does the content provide substantial value when, we've done that one, sorry. Does the content have any specific, does the content have any spelling or stylistic issues? So again, we just want to make certain that everything is just ticked off. Some of these questions, I might be sucking eggs. You might have already said, like, Kaz, I already run my content through Grammarly. What I recommend when using this checklist, anything that you feel like you have already done, just tick it off. You don't need to worry about, like, for example, running everything through Grammarly or through Hemingway if you've already done that. Is the content produced well, or does it appear sloppy or hastily produced? Is the content mass-produced or outsourced by a large number of creators or spread across a large network of sites so the individual page or sites don't get as much attention or care? Does the content provide clear answers or solutions to users' questions or problems? By the way, guys, I also have got good examples and also bad examples, and also how to check as well. Then we've got the expertise question. So again, we're kind of going in line with like the EEAT that Google, or the EEAT that Google wants us to actually go by. Does the content present information in a way that makes you want to trust it, such as clear sourcing, evidence of the expertise involved, or background about the offer or the site that publishes it? Then we have got, if someone researched the site producing the content, would they come away with an impression that it is well trusted, widely recognized as a site, or as an authority on this topic? So that's kind of like the topical authority side of stuff as well. So we're covering as many different things as we possibly can. Is this content written or reviewed by an expert or an enthusiast who demonstrably knows the topic well? Does the content have any easily verified factual errors? So again, just fact checking the actual content. That's one thing that a lot of people do when they are using content writers, or even when they're using AI content tools. They like to fact check the stuff within the actual article. Then we've got focus on people first content. So do you have an existing or intended audience for your business or site that would find the content useful if they came directly to you? Then we've got, does your content clearly demonstrate first-hand experience and a depth of knowledge, for example, expertise that comes from having actually used a product or service or a visiting place? Now, one thing as well, just to as a little caveat, I will actually put a little star next to this one. One thing to bear in mind with this is you could actually demonstrate that you've purchased a product by actually uploading unique images as well. So just bear that in mind with prompt number 21, because in some cases, like there is a shoe website. Let me try and find it for you. So this is a shoe website that is known for cutting shoes in half, and again, not anybody else on the market's actually doing that. But this is actually providing something of value, and something that not many people would do. So when we were obviously talking about first-hand experience and obviously adding something of value, that could be something. Again, I'm not trying to say go and like cut everything in half, but that's just an idea. We then have got, does your site have a primary purpose or focus? After reading your content, will someone leave feeling they've learned enough about a topic to help achieve their goal? We also then have got, will someone reading your content leave feeling they've had a satisfying experience? So that's the focus on people first content. We then have got, avoid creating search engine first content. Is the content primarily made to attract visits from search engines? Now, again, one thing to bear in mind is that in some cases it's impossible to avoid that. So some of these you obviously just need to think about it a little bit, because if, say for example, we were to only create articles only ever going after people first, then it would be very hard to just monetize a website, because a lot of people, they don't like being sold to. So just bear that in mind. In some cases, like 10% of your website might need to be SEO optimized, or content for search engines. We then have got, are you producing lots of content on many different topics in hopes of some of it might perform well in search results? So again, what you want to be doing with this is making certain that the article that you are uploading through to your website, your readers would actually want to read. In a lot of cases, a lot of website owners, they just chase after search volume. It's not one thing you want to be doing. Are you using extensive automation to produce content on many topics? Now, again, that's not to say that all AI content is terrible, because in a lot of cases, AI can actually improve your content. Like this sheet, like we're going to be actually using AI. Like there's a prompt section for a lot of these checkboxes that will actually improve your content. Are you mainly summarizing what others have to say without adding much value? So if you're doing copycat content, just is probably a good time to move away from copycat content, or you will definitely run the risk of being hit by Google. Are you writing are you writing about things simply because they seem trending and not because you'd write about them otherwise for your existing audience? So like what I mentioned before, does your audience actually want to read the content? Does your content leave readers feeling like they need to search again to get a better information from other sources? So again, if you aren't covering the topic in its entirety at a page level and also at a silo level and also at a website level, that could lead website or visitors going and doing another search after reading your article. That's the worst thing you could possibly ever do. So think of topical authority for this section. Think of, is this page the most useful and helpful page on the actual web? If not, how can I improve it? You then have got, are you writing to particular word count because you've heard or read that Google has preferred word count? No, we don't. So this was an actual section that I've actually kind of grabbed from the actual Google documentation. So again, with word count, in some cases, people do fluff up content because everybody's using 6,000 words and they think they need to write a 6,000 word article. If you can spit out that article in 4,500 words, and it is a lot less extensive for information retrieval for Google, then you're actually doing Google a favor, because it means that they don't need to read through all of your content to then get the answer. Do you decide to enter niche topic area without any real expertise, but instead mainly because you thought you'd get search traffic? So again, don't just go after search volume. In some cases, writing an article on a keyword that only gets 5 searches a month, but it's actually helping your user base, that's going to help your website overall. Does your content promise to answer a question that's actually has no answer, such as suggesting that there's a release date for a product or movie or a TV show when one isn't confirmed? So again, a lot of websites that I've seen hit with the HCU, for example, they did actually do this. So again, if we take a look at a good example of this, an article that provides clear, accurate, helpful information based on verified facts, an article that's misleading readers by suggesting an unverified release date for a trending topic. Now, recently, probably about 6 weeks ago, I actually searched iOS 17 or 18 release date, and there was a lot of websites with the page title of like iOS release date, click here for more info. And when you actually read the article, it didn't even have the release date. So just certain things like that. We then have got, are you changing the date of pages to make them seem fresh within the content has not actually substantially changed. So if any of you guys are using a date PHP modifier where it's just redoing the date so it looks like it's fresh content, but it's that you've not actually changed the content, that's a big no-no. We then have got, are you adding a lot of new content or removing a lot of older content primarily because you believe it will help your search results overall by somehow making your site seem fresh? No, it won't. So again, certain things that I am mentioning on this is based off of, first of all, my own experience, websites that I've actually seen being hit by HCU, and also the Google documentation as well. We then have got user engagement questions. So does the content encourage user interactions such as comments, discussion, or social sharing on social media? Is the comment formatted in a way that it makes it easy to read or scan when proper headings, bullet points, or visuals? Does the content include multimedia images, videos, infographics, and complement the text and enhance the user experience? We also have got, are there clear call to actions that guide the user on what to do next, such as further reading, signing up, or making a purchase? So that's super important. So again, a good example of that is an article on fitness that ends with a call to sign up for a free workout guide or explore related blog posts. We've then got the authority and trustworthy section. So does the content cite reputable sources? So for example, if you've written a 6,000 word article and you are talking about certain sources that that's helped you write that content, if you are linking to them, that can definitely help. If, say, for example, you're linking to Wikipedia, or if, say, for example, you're linking to a quote, that can go in your favor. A lot of people, they don't like to do that because they're scared that they're going to pass link power through to a competitor. In some cases, it's actually okay to do that. You're actually helping the user get around the web. Are credentials or expertise of the offer clearly visible, and do they lend authority to the subject matter? So, for example, you would never get a doctor talking about finance, and vice versa. You would never get a finance expert talking about law advice, for example. Is the content updated regularly to ensure its accuracy and relevance, especially if the cover topic evolves over time? So, for example, if we have got a website on law obviously changes. There's a lot of laws that change after governments change, for example. So new governments come in every 4 years, or every few months if you're in the UK, and the laws change. So if, say, for example, you're talking about a specific law and it's out of date, you can lose positions because your competitors have updated their articles. We then have got the technical section, and one thing, again, like what I've mentioned before, this technical section is kind of just like a 4 checkpoint checklist at the minute. I'm going to actually be updating or keeping this section up to date, this spreadsheet up to date. So next week I'm actually going to be adding a link related section. So there's going to be a new tab, and there's probably going to be like a 40-point checklist for links to spam check your links. And then I'm also going to be doing a technical checklist as well. So make certain to actually keep subscribed to the actual mailing list. It's completely free. So the technical the technical questions at the minute: does the page load quickly, and is it mobile friendly, ensuring a smooth user experience? Again, some of these questions I'm probably sucking eggs here a little bit, but it's probably just good to just double check. Is the content optimized for SEO without being overstuffed with keywords, e.g. includes relevant headings, meta descriptions, and alt text for images? So again, if, say for example, you have, if you are more of a visual website, let's say you're doing kitchen renovations, images is super important. So making certain that your images are actually filled out correctly, you've got the alt text, they are actually optimized, you're lazy loading your images. Again, I'll have a full-on technical SEO checklist that you guys can obviously follow along in the following weeks. Does the content comply with web accessibility standards, e.g. alt text for images, proper contrast and readable fonts? You can obviously check this yourself. There are a lot of websites that do this. Does the site avoid intrusive interstitials or ads that interrupt the user's experience? So again, if you've got a lot of ads, that can obviously go in a bad way for your website. And then we've also got user experience questions. Some of these, or actually a lot of these, last like 4 questions. You're going to need to do a manual check. Unfortunately, I can't create a prompt for everything. But does the content appear in a well-designed, easy to navigate layout, free from clutter or excessive ads? Then we've got, is the content personalized or tailored to the user's needs or past behaviors on this site as well? So I've got everything here on how to check it. Good examples. So if I scroll up, I've got the question here, which we've covered. We've got the good examples, the bad examples, how to check, and how the actual prompt to check. Now, again, unfortunately, I wasn't able to create prompts for all of these because if, say, for example, if I was to just force a prompt, I would be lying to you guys, and that's not one thing that I would want to do. So in some cases, you will need to do a manual check yourself. And if you guys haven't, make certain to just make a copy of this. So file, make a copy here. And I will also be creating a updated version in a week's time, going over technical and also link building and anything else that I feel like is actually useful for this. But as of right now, there are 47 different checks here to make certain that your website isn't penalized. But obviously, you want to create a list, first of all, of pages that you have actually lost traffic, and then run these pages through this checklist. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. It has been a little bit of a longer video. But as always, please remember to leave a like. And if you guys do want a free growth strategy for your website, feel free to go over to casualdash.com. The link is in the description as well. Fill out the form and I will get back to you. Thanks.